What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and I'm here in New York for the Pixel 4 launch. We've just had the launch and I've got this very special box, SuperSaf style. Let's get straight to the unboxing and see what we've got inside. This video is sponsored by Tech21. Get 10% off Pixel 4 cases using the link in the description below. So inside the box, we are initially presented with the Google Pixel 4 as well as the Google Pixel 4 XL. We've got the also orange as well as the clearly white colors here. There's also a just black color. These two have a matte finish. It is a glass back, whereas the just black has a bit more of a glossy finish. I definitely do prefer the matte finish on these. And then we've got a matte black aluminium frame across all devices. We do have an IP68 water and dust resistance rating too. Now in this special box, I've got this little drawer at the bottom. And in here, we've got a few fun bits. I think these are some crackers or something, some sort of snacks. And then we have the official retail boxes of the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL. Let's see what you get inside the retail boxes. So initially we do get some paperwork as well as the SIM card tools. There's a USB type A to USB type C cable, as well as a USB type A to USB type C converter. So this can be used to transfer your old data from your old smartphone onto here. Then there's of course the power bricks. The Pixel 4s do support 18-watt fast wireless charging. We don't have anything crazy like 25 watts or 40 watts like we've got on some of the others. It is still 18 watts and we still do have support for wireless charging. Now taking a closer look at both of these, of course the Pixel 4 is the much smaller, it's much more manageable in the hand compared to the XL. And we do have different display sizes on both of them. The 4 has a 5.7-inch display, whereas we've got a 6.3-inch display on the XL. We've got a full HD plus resolution on the Pixel 4. On the Pixel 4 XL, we've got a Quad HD plus resolution. And both of these are what Google are calling smooth OLED displays. So we've got OLED technology on both of them and 90 Hz refresh rate. So it is going to dynamically switch between 60 and 90 Hz depending on the content that you're viewing. But first impressions, they look very smooth. DisplayMate has also ranked them very, very high. And we do have small bezels on the left and right with a bit of a chin and a forehead. So quite a different design. Google haven't gone for a notch, quite a large notch that they had last time, or a punch out or a pop-up. They have gone for these foreheads. Now, there are some useful things within these foreheads. Firstly, we do have one of the two speakers. So there's one speaker here and there's one also bottom firing. So we've got stereo speakers again, although both are not front firing this time. We've got the front facing camera, of course. This is 8 megapixels with an f2.0 aperture. Then we've got a bunch of sensors. So the Google Pixel 4s are the first devices with radar sensors. Now, let me explain how this is going to work. It's going to have spatial awareness. So it's going to be able to tell when you're close by. So if your Pixel is on the table, for example, and you go over to reach it, then it's going to know that you're going to reach it. And then it's going to activate the secure facial unlock. So the facial unlock isn't just going to be using the front-facing camera. It is using some additional sensors. And Google have said that this is the fastest secure facial unlock that you're going to have on any smartphone. So this is going to be quite interesting to test out. And the radar sensor also allows some gesture motions, and Google are calling this motion sense. I'm not so sure about this, but essentially you're going to be able to do a few things without having to touch the device. So if the device is on the table, and say for instance you are on Spotify, then you're going to be able to skip tracks by just waving your hand over it. If somebody calls you and you want to reject that call, if you want to answer it, you can do that. Also, if you want to snooze your alarm, for example, the thinking behind this is just to kind of quickly interact, or if your hands are dirty or something like this. I personally don't know how much I'm going to use it. I did do some testing at the demo area and it was kind of hit and miss, if I'm honest with you. But then again, that is sort of pre-release software, and this is something that should hopefully improve with time. Personally speaking, when it comes to gestures on phones, it's not something that I'm super excited about. I'm sure it is going to be useful for a lot of people. Now let's talk about the cameras. Google, of course, very, very big on cameras, and this time, for the first time on a Pixel, we have a dual rear-facing camera setup. The primary camera is 12.2 megapixels with an f1.7 aperture, and the secondary camera is a telephoto camera. This is 16 megapixels with an f2.4 aperture. Yes, so they've gone with zoom instead of an ultra wide. I am not too keen on this. I do like a zoom camera, and this one, not only is it going to give you 2x optical zoom, but it is going to use Google's super zoom technology, and it's going to allow you to get even closer with hybrid zoom. And Google have also been saying that the telephoto camera is also going to help towards portraits. And you guys know that I'm a huge fan of telephoto portraits. I think portraits should be around the 50mm mark, and that's for me the most pleasing angle. So I'm glad that we do have a telephoto camera. But that is no excuse not to have an ultra-wide camera. I mean, look at all the competition. Samsung, Huawei, OnePlus, even Apple now have 3 cameras on their flagship devices. So if I'm completely honest, I am pretty disappointed that we don't have an ultra-wide camera. However, these 2 cameras do look pretty promising. There's a bunch of new features. So we do have HDR plus live view. So traditionally when you would have the Google phones, you would have a look in the viewfinder and everything wouldn't look so great. Highlights would be blown out. You take the picture and then there'd be lots of processing, and then you'd get an amazing image with great dynamic range. This time, you're actually going to be able to preview that live. So this is definitely something that I've been waiting for. So you can really compose your shots, seeing how they look. And then you've also got dual exposure controls. This is once again very, very interesting. This is going to allow you to control your shadows and highlights before you take the image. So if you do want to take like a silhouette image, then instead of just, taking the image and it's going to pull out all the shadows, you might not want to pull out the shadows. You might want to go for a silhouette effect. Well, as you can see from this example here with my buddy Technical Guruji Gaurav, you can actually customize this, and it looks very, very promising. I can't wait to test it out. Now, in addition to that, there's been lots of improvements made on nighttime photography. So this should take even better nighttime shots, as well as astrophotography. So this is gonna allow you to take some epic landscapes with lots of stars and things. They have advised that you're gonna have to use a tripod or mount this somewhere to get those astro shots that they've showed in their examples. But once again, looks very, very promising. I'm really looking forward to testing out a little bit more. On the video side of things, however, it looks like we have 4K at 30 frames a second max, so no 4K 60, and the front-facing camera maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames a second. Now, I've said this before, but it always seems to me like Google concentrates so much on the photography side of things, but video is always an afterthought. And it looks like, unfortunately, that is the case again here on these new Pixels. I will, of course, be testing these out and putting them against some of the competition. Definitely let me know in the comments below which SuperSaf style camera comparison you'd like to see first versus the Google Pixels. Now, internally, the new Pixels are powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 with 6GB of RAM, and for storage, you've got either 64 or 128GB. Now, 64 for me, I think is too less on a smartphone right now. iPhones also start at 64GB, so I understand that. However, this year, Google have not included unlimited storage at full resolution. You just have the high quality backup. So traditionally, on previous Pixels, you'd have unlimited storage at full resolution, 4K, all the good stuff for 2 years. This doesn't look like we have that this year. It's only at high quality. So 64GB, I would have liked to have definitely seen more. Now let's talk about what makes a Pixel, and that is, of course, the software. You've got Android 10 out of the box, and this is going to be that stock experience. You're going to be getting updates, all of the new features straight away. Updates are supported for up to 3 years. And we've got lots of new features, in particular around Google Assistant, so you can have continued conversations. Say you want to search me on Twitter, you can be like, hey Google, show me SuperSaf on Twitter, and I've just activated Google on here. So it's going to open Twitter, but then you can continue the conversation. So you're not going to have to say, hey, Google, each time. You can continue the conversation and you can say, tell me more about whatever. And that way it's going to make the conversation a lot more streamlined. And we also have a new voice recorder. This is very interesting because the way this works is it actually transcribes live. So whatever you're saying, it's going to turn that speech into text live, and it's going to be doing this all on the device, so you don't need an internet connection. So for instance, if you're in a meeting and you want to transcribe that meeting, you can do that while this is recording. And then if you need to search something in particular, say it's a very long meeting and it's like an hour long, then you can just search for that word and it's going to find that and it's going to show you where in the audio clip that is. That looks very, very interesting. I'm sure it's going to be super, super useful. For the batteries, the Pixel 4 has a 2800 mAh battery. The Pixel 4 XL has a 3700 mAh battery. Of course, battery life, we're gonna have to see with that 90Hz display and all of these features. We're gonna see how well these will do. I'm of course gonna have to use these a lot more. And for pricing and availability, the Pixel 4 XL is going to be starting at £669 or $799. The Pixel 4 XL is going to be starting at £829 or $899. So premium prices here, going up against a lot of competition that we have these days. What do you guys think of the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And as mentioned towards the beginning, this video is sponsored by Tech21. The best Tech21 cases just got even better for the Pixel with built-in antimicrobial protection and plant-based materials. You're getting more protection from more sustainable cases. Rid your case of 99.99% of microbes and keep it hygienically clean with built-in antimicrobial protection. And the best part, it's built into the material itself, which means permanent lasting protection. Get the same great protection from more sustainable materials by breaking down plant-based feedstock into starches. Tech21 have turned them into high-performing impact materials for your new Pixel cases. SuperSaf viewers can get 10% off by using the code SAF10 or by visiting the link in the description below. That is the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. What are my first impressions? Well, I'm very interested in testing out the software and of course those cameras. I think they're going to be great for photography, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that we don't have ultra-wide cameras. This is something that I think that every flagship smartphone should have now, and it's something that the competition is also offering. So I don't buy the excuse from Google that they prioritize a telephoto camera over an ultra-wide when, realistically speaking, they should have given us both. That aside, they look like promising devices. We'll see how we get along. If you want to see all of the latest coverage with the new Pixels, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of that. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.